Welcome to the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate Question Bank Series. In this video, I've got 10 exam-style practice questions lined up for you. Each one comes with the correct answer and a full explanation, including why the wrong options are wrong. Here's how to get the most out of this. When a question appears, pause the video, pick your answer, then hit play to check yourself. Ready? Let's dive into the first question. Question 1. A company in AWS account A must allow an application in a partner's AWS account B to read objects from an S3 bucket in account A. What is the most secure way to grant this cross-account access? The correct answer is A. Create an IAM role in account A with a trust policy for account B, and have the partner assume the role. A cross-account IAM role with a trust policy lets the partner assume the role and obtain temporary credentials following least privilege without sharing long-term keys. Now, why the other options are wrong? Create an IAM user in account A and email the access keys to the partner is incorrect. Emailing access keys exposes long-term credentials and is insecure. Make the S3 bucket public so the partner can read the objects is incorrect. Making the bucket public exposes the data to everyone, not just the partner. Share the account A root user credentials with the partner is incorrect. Sharing root credentials is never acceptable and grants unrestricted access. Question 2. An organization wants employees to sign in to AWS using their existing corporate identities and receive temporary credentials. Which approach should they use? The correct answer is B. Configure federation with AWS IAM Identity Center, or SAML, so users get temporary credentials. Federation through IAM Identity Center, or SAML, lets users sign in with corporate identities and receive temporary credentials, avoiding per-user IAM accounts. Now, why the other options are wrong. Create a separate IAM user with a password for every employee is incorrect. Creating individual IAM users duplicates identities and increases management overhead instead of federating existing ones. Share one IAM user among all employees is incorrect. Sharing one IAM user removes accountability and is insecure. Store employee credentials in an S3 bucket is incorrect. Storing credentials in S3 is insecure and does not provide federation. Question 3. A security team must ensure that IAM users can only perform sensitive actions if they have authenticated with multi-factor authentication, MFA. How can this be enforced? The correct answer is C. Attach an IAM policy that denies the actions unless MFA is present in the request context. An IAM policy with a condition requiring MFA, for example, AWS:multi-factor auth present, enforces MFA for the specified actions. Now, why the other options are wrong? Email users a reminder to enable MFA is incorrect. A reminder does not technically enforce MFA. Enable MFA only on the root user is incorrect. Enabling MFA on root alone does not protect IAM user actions. Place all users in a single IAM group with administrator access is incorrect. Granting administrator access does not enforce MFA and violates least privilege. Question 4. An application stores database credentials that must be rotated automatically on a schedule without code changes. Which AWS service should be used? The correct answer is D. AWS Secrets Manager. AWS Secrets Manager securely stores secrets and can automatically rotate database credentials on a schedule. Now, why the other options are wrong? Amazon S3 with default encryption is incorrect. S3 stores objects and does not rotate credentials. AWS CloudTrail is incorrect. CloudTrail records API activity. It does not store or rotate secrets. Amazon CloudWatch Logs is incorrect. CloudWatch Logs collects logs and does not manage secrets. Question 5. A company uses an AWS KMS customer-managed key to encrypt data and wants the key material rotated automatically every year. What should they enable? The correct answer is A. Automatic key rotation on the KMS customer-managed key. KMS supports automatic annual rotation of customer-managed keys while keeping the same key ID. Now, why the other options are wrong? S3 cross-region replication is incorrect. Cross-region replication copies S3 objects and does not rotate keys. A new IAM access key each year is incorrect. IAM access keys are user credentials, unrelated to KMS key rotation. AWS Shield Advanced is incorrect. Shield Advanced is for DDoS protection, not key rotation. Question 6. A team wants to make sure an S3 bucket is never accidentally exposed to the public. Which feature should they enable? The correct answer is B. S3 Block Public Access. S3 Block Public Access prevents the bucket and its objects from being made public, even if a policy or ACL would otherwise allow it. Now, why the other options are wrong? S3 Transfer Acceleration is incorrect. Transfer acceleration speeds up uploads and is unrelated to public access. S3 Requester Pays is incorrect. Requester Pays shifts data transfer charges to requesters. It does not block public access. S3 Multipart Upload is incorrect. Multipart upload is for uploading large objects and is unrelated to public access. Question 7. A public web application is being targeted by SQL injection and cross-site scripting attempts. Which AWS service helps filter these malicious web requests? The correct answer is C. AWS WAF. AWS WAF inspects incoming web requests and can block common exploits such as SQL injection and cross-site scripting. Now, why the other options are wrong? Amazon Route 53 is incorrect. Route 53 is a DNS service and does not filter web request content. AWS Direct Connect is incorrect. Direct Connect provides a dedicated network connection, not web filtering. Amazon EFS is incorrect. EFS is a file storage service and does not filter web traffic. Question 8. A company needs managed protection against large-scale DDoS attacks on its internet-facing applications, with access to 24/7 response support. Which service should it use? The correct answer is D. AWS Shield Advanced. AWS Shield Advanced provides enhanced DDoS protection and access to the AWS DDoS response team. Now, why the other options are wrong? Amazon Inspector is incorrect. Amazon Inspector assesses workloads for vulnerabilities, not DDoS protection. Amazon Macie is incorrect. Amazon Macie discovers sensitive data in S3, not DDoS protection. AWS Config is incorrect. AWS Config tracks resource configuration, not DDoS protection. Question 9. A security team wants continuous, intelligent threat detection that analyzes account activity and network traffic for malicious behavior. Which service provides this? The correct answer is A. Amazon Guard Duty. Amazon Guard Duty continuously analyzes logs and network activity to detect threats and anomalous behavior. Now, why the other options are wrong? AWS Trusted Advisor is incorrect. Trusted Advisor gives best practice recommendations, not continuous threat detection. Amazon CloudFront is incorrect. CloudFront is a content delivery network, not a threat detection service. AWS Batch is incorrect. AWS Batch runs batch computing jobs and is unrelated to threat detection.
Question 10.
Instances in a private subnet must access Amazon S3 without sending traffic over the public internet. What is the most appropriate solution? The correct answer is B. Create a VPC gateway endpoint for Amazon S3. A VPC gateway endpoint for S3 lets instances in a private subnet reach S3 privately over the AWS network without internet access. Now, why the other options are wrong? Attach an internet gateway to the private subnet is incorrect. Attaching an internet gateway would route traffic over the public internet, which is what must be avoided. Assign public IP addresses to the instances is incorrect. Public IPs would expose instances to the internet and still use public routing. Use an Amazon S3 website endpoint over the internet is incorrect. An S3 website endpoint is accessed over the public internet, not privately. And that's a wrap on this video. Nice work getting through those 10 questions. If this helped, you're going to want the complete set, all 390 exam-style questions, with full explanations across every exam domain are available in our Udemy course. The link is in the description below. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video, where I'll walk you through 10 more. See you in the next video.